Hello and welcome to Global Morning Weekend. We're here again as usual to spice up your weekend. I hope you're doing well. Trust your night was restful, or wherever you are, how your day is going, where you are across the globe. I am Anita Patrick, and I won't be doing this alone this morning. I have my co-pilot who is always sitting beside me, ready to ensure that your day will be spiced up, in person of Mukhtar Kazim is here, always looking handsome himself. But we'll tell you, we have lots of things lined up for you today on Global Morning. As always, we have newspaper review we'll bring to you. We'll also bring you taste and texture, and we'll also bring you what's going on around Nigeria here, where we have the by-elections, which is going to be ongoing today across 12 states. We'll have by-elections happening across 12 states, and we'll have a lot to monitor and tell you what the preparedness is like with INEC and what is going out so far in terms of logistics. If everything is on ground, we'll keep you abreast with all of that happening today on Global Morning. Stay with us. We'll be right back and we'll bring you all the rundown as we've lined up for you. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We're still here, and like we told you earlier, we have lots of things lined up for you, and we'll quickly start with my guest who I was rightly introducing to you. Mukhtar, how was the night?
Good morning, Madam Anita. Good morning, Nigeria. My night was fine. How was your night?
It was a bit okay, courtesy of the weather.
Yeah, the weather is nice.
It's nice, but you know, as it is, it's a change of weather, the rainy season. But what do? It's a season, so we have to just flow with it.
Yes, people are struggling with some morning sickness here and there, but of course, like you said, the show has to go on, and we have to.
We have to get everything going. Mukhtar, you know, as usual, we have all of those lined up for us to discuss, and let's start quickly with the newspaper review and look at the papers. We have some papers lined up for you, and we'll quickly just have the newspaper review and tell you what is actually happening around the world.
Yes.
Let's tell you, I have a lineup of papers. We have a lot of papers ranging from the Vanguard, Tribune, The Nation, The Sun, This Day, and the likes of them lined up for you. But we'll quickly just take what's happening right now with the Vanguard newspaper. We have the Vanguard newspaper there, where it tells you broadly written there, and it's the major headline they're making the rounds there with the newspaper. But before we quickly take that paper and then give you all of those lined up, let's quickly take this quick break, and when we come back, we'll be right back with it. Welcome back. It's the newspaper review segment. Like we already gave you the heads up about it, but like we told you, we have lots of people lined up, and we have the Vanguard, we have This Day newspaper, we have the Punch newspaper, we have Tribune. But let's quickly start with the Vanguard newspaper, where I rightly pointed out earlier, where the Vanguard newspaper has boldly written there on its major headline, it says, "Your marching orders not effective." And it has a rider there that says, "As killings, herdsmen, attacks continue after president's enough is enough order." And we have another one that says, "Niger Delta stakeholders advise Tinubu to adopt unconventional approach to overpower terrorists." And that's on page 10. That's talking in line with the
security challenges,
security
across
issues
Nigeria.
across Nigeria. And here we have above that where we have Benue platoon leaders to Tinubu. That's the order they are giving to him, saying they're telling him that his marching orders is not effective enough. If he has given such orders in regards to the insecurity happening in Benue, in Plateau, we've seen lots of killings due to the cattle headers clashes with the farmers, and it's still going back and forth. We've seen it continuously. Just recently, we just had that recently happening in Benue State, and it's actually heartbreaking. So it's time it's time for them to, for the authority, that's the president, to take full charge and see that his orders are very effective.
Of course, it's not about giving orders. How have those orders resulted to better security in those states? Have those orders been followed to the latter, and have they brought out results? That's the question the Benue and Plateau leaders are asking the president right now.
It's actually very, very important to ask those questions, because you can't give an order as a president and then same thing is repeating itself over and over. It just seems like it's
like
not
talk. Is it just talk?
It sounds like mere talk, and there's no action.
Yes.
But we hope the authorities would actually dive into this and ensure that the right thing is done. But let's look above the masthead of the Vanguard there. It says Tinubu's quest to dominate South, and we have Diri rebuffs machination to surrender Bayelsa. That's on page 12 there.
Yes.
And that's talking ahead of 2027. There's a whole lot.
The calculations.
There's a whole lot still happening there with preparations to 2027. And then, move away from that, we have Enugu bows as Christian Chukwu goes home today. That's on page 16. That's the legend,
Super Eagles ex-coach and ex-captain.
I'm telling you, he was an amazing coach there, and he did well. He also contributed his quota while he was alive here on earth. Well, we pray for his family, and we pray that they'll be able to bear this loss. Well, let's move away from that and see what's still happening with the Vanguard newspaper. We still have Home Affairs, the silent divorce, why sexless marriage are the elephants in our bedrooms. Well, I need to find out more on that, because that has to do with Home Affairs. That's on page 14 there, where you need to find out what is happening in the home front. But let's quickly move and still talk more with politics. We still have the Labour Party crisis. There's still a lot happening with Labour Party,
and the crisis is going on
around them, and the internal crisis. You have your tenure has expired. INEC tells Aburi, and there's a writer that says Obi's faction bounces back, and we still have another writer that says Aburi mom, Nenadi Hills move extends olive branch. Oti former treasurer Osontukum orders Hill electoral umpire. And all those stories are on page 6 of the Vanguard newspaper. You can find out more on that particular page. Then a bit of health there. On the health page there, we have 30 minutes exercise reduces cancer cell growth. That's on page 28 of the Vanguard newspaper. And that's the that you need to keep fit.
Of course, you know they say health is wealth.
Health is wealth. No matter what you do, you need to watch out for yourself. Fit, so that you can reduce
whatever it
the chances.
Like they said, exercise keeps you fit. So of course, move your body. Do not just be in one place every time. As that will help you stay stronger and even healthier. Yeah, exactly. So let's see what's happening. Why Nigerian aviation? I'll keep struggling. Oh yeah, that's the chief executive there of
Earpiece speaking strongly that why
Nigeria's
aviation sector always having lots of drama playing out for them, and he's saying he's going to keep struggling to ensure that the narrative there is changed as long as he's part of that sector. And then we have still talking about insecurity issues below the bottom plate there. We have adopted Edo minor cemeterian spent 35 days in captivity. That's on page 5.
That's a sad one. Every time we look at the newspaper, we always see stories like this, and it breaks our hearts. It
really breaks our hearts. You always see something that has to do with insecurity, and I feel so sad for the loved ones each time someone just goes missing.
It's traumatizing.
It's actually not a funny experience at all for anyone to go through. Well, 35 days, not 1 day.
That's well over a month.
I'm telling you, well over a month and some days. Well, that's all we can take there from the Vanguard newspaper. The Vanguard has actually given us its own round. Let's quickly move away and go to This Day newspaper and tell you what's happening on the front page of This Day newspaper. This Day has above the masthead there. Let's start quickly.
Yes, it says Tambuwal saying EFCC can't intimidate me, says Ordeal plot to silence him. We know he's embattled in a controversy there, and he's saying that they are attacking him for whatever reasons. But we know, of course, that anti-graft agencies don't just go after you without
having their evidences or whatever. Exactly. They have done their due intelligence to find out what exactly is happening before they move to you.
Yes.
So let's find out as more things unveil with that investigation.
And then below that headline, there's one which says inflation drops marginally to 21.88% amidst lower food energy prices. That's a good one, if you ask me.
Yeah. Let's see how a lot of things can come up and people can have food on their table.
Certainly.
Yeah. Let's see stories here. A bit of below the masthead there, still talking with it. Trump Putin end meeting, hope rises for ceasefire.
Yes, that's been going on. That meeting has been anticipated the entire week.
I'm telling you.
It has happened yesterday, so we hope that meeting brings a lot of positive results, and it helps to end the war in Ukraine and Russia, because it's been going on for too long.
That's long overdue. It's time for ceasefire. Hopefully this pans out and there will be ceasefire and there will be peace across the nations there. Well, let's see what's happening. We have APC, ADC, PDP shows strength in today's by-elections. Well, we said that we're going to talk about the by-elections happening across 12 states. Well, all the political parties are showing the strength. They are telling themselves that it's time for us to take over the seats which were vacant.
Yes.
And don't forget, this is something we'll delve in properly when we get to the discussion segments. And let's see how that pans out across the 16 constituencies with over 3 million plus voter participation there.
Yes.
Well, that's on page 5.
Yes, that's on page 5.
To find out more of those details while we bring you the discussion in the course of the programming.
And then below that headline, we have this one which says, experts hail 346 million United States Nigeria arms deal as a boost for terrorism fight. And here's a rider which says, national security goes beyond arms, ammunitions, and that is according to NSA Ribadu. And there's another one which says, harps on need for stakeholders collaboration. Well, this is a good move if you ask me, because insecurity, like we said, is something that has become a problem for Nigeria. So acquiring more firepower from the United States, I think, is a right step in the right direction in helping Nigeria curb the menace of banditry and insecurity all across the country.
Well, it's good. It's one thing to appreciate and hail them, and that thing for this to be put to use, proper use, and also put in the right places, because we've had this insecurity for far so long.
And it's not the first time we're seeing arms being procured from
because
other
you
countries.
ask, how did this armed persons that's on the terrorist side get the ammunition? You keep asking those questions, and if you keep asking, you wonder where the question.
And some of the ammunitions they have are actually very powerful. It's something that mere terrorists should not really have. So the questions are, how do they get this thing?
Exactly. So we hope that with this deal put in place, our security will have more to be able to counterattack these terrorists and bring in sanity in the security sector. Not like they're not doing enough, the security sector is doing their own bit, but we're hoping that this will bring in more positive.
And like the NSA here just said, he said it's beyond buying arms. So there are other factors that are
It's not just buying the arms, it's actually doing more and ensuring that it's secured, the land is secured, and Nigerians are safe. All right, that's all on that. Let's quickly see the last one there that says NICOM announces new minimum capital for insurance, reinsurance firms.
That's a bit of business news.
That's business story there on this day newspaper. Well, that's most of the stories that has actually just covered the front page of this day newspaper. Let's quickly move to the next paper there, where we have the Punch newspaper. The Punch newspaper has its own story in different version, cut across politics, entertainment, and still talking about the aviation sector,
of course,
which is a major story there, leading its headline boldly there, and it says, Flight Fury, inside story of Kwam Emerson's pardon. The aviation sector has, in the last 2 weeks or thereabouts,
has been in the front burner.
It's been the front burner, and lots of conversation. I read yesterday while we're getting ready for this, and I saw where there was someone also put in a lawsuit saying why the disparity in the judgments given for Kwam and also Emerson, and then you also see where offers are made for Emerson and all that. So I'm hoping that this will have lots of those comparison.
Honestly, that I remember last week when we spoke about it, we talked about how we needed to hold people accountable.
Exactly. And
then if you're holding everyone accountable, we should all be measured with the same measuring stick. We should not see as some people are being favored for whatever reason. If everyone's an offender, then that person, they should all be treated equal, basically.
Now let's look at what the writer here says below the main story. It says how powers that be compelled Fuji musicians apology. And we also have another one that says real reason FG withdrew charges against female passenger. And I also have another one that says, I have forgiven everyone, says Emerson. That's on page 4. Well, interesting captions there where you need to pick up and read up to get the full details on the breakdown of this Flight Fury and the drama that played out in the aviation sector. That's with the flights taking up and landing. Well, when I look at it, I just tell myself, like we mentioned, it's time for us to take charge and be responsible.
Certainly.
That's what this is about. And the good thing is when someone is repentant,
and
that's the
changed their way. Yes, like we said, to err is human, and
is also
to forgive is divine. So if they've changed their ways and apologized, of course, they should also be punished. But of course, we can let them just be.
Okay, well, let's look at a bit of other stories making the round there. We have, like I said, entertainment has its own part of the story here, making the front page of the Punch newspaper. We also have Toke Makinwa's baby bomb triggers questions about lovers' identity. That's on page 17. Well, she's long been looking for it, and finally it's here for her. So we say congratulations to her.
Certainly,
and we wish her all the best in this journey of hers. Well, we also have a bit of entertainment there. We have what says Sango's Festival, where ancient rites ignite fire and thunder. A bit of exhibition there of our culture and how it is being practiced here in Nigeria, well, in the western part of Nigeria.
Yes.
Well, moving away from that, we also have another story there.
It says federal government blasts Canada over reckless terrorist tag on PDP APC.
Well, that story has been in the news. We saw that, and then there's actually no reason why would you tag people,
political parties,
terrorist group. What's really the major focus? Why would you tag? Is it just about the party, or you're trying to make Nigerians or a particular trend of those people who come from that party to be terrorists? What's the rationale you have?
Yes, because you can't just label a party that is existing legitimately and then you say they're terrorist organizations. What has informed this tag?
And I find that there's a response coming from the authorities, which speaks well that you don't just give a particular party a name when you don't have your facts backing whatever you're saying that has to do with that. Well, let's move away from that. Let's see another story here talking about a bit of help. We also have to talk about help. My sister vanished after meeting hotel guest. that's the brother speaking, still talking about insecurity, the reason why we need to shine our eyes, pay attention, no matter what we're doing or who we're meeting or we're going. I remember the last conversation we had on one of the so we had to talk about when you're going somewhere, you need to drop a phone call.
Certainly, you have to inform
someone
yes.
and tell the person, even if it's the last person you can speak to before, no matter how much in a hurry you are, just tell somebody, I am here.
This is where I'm going to. This is who I am with.
This date is even made easy. You can share your location.
Certainly, but many people do not explore that option. I think we need to be more tech savvy in this regard.
I'm telling you, we need to pay attention to security. Share your location. The smartphones we have has actually helped with all of those things. You can share your location.
One click away.
If you're not sure of where you're going, or just to play safe on your own side as a person, just tell somebody, I am here
with this particular
Please keep tabs with me in case you can't hear from me or something. That will also help go a long way in ensuring that one is also safe. Well, still other stories there, but let's see how we can move quickly and say go and see no more. A CSC tells Pastor Fatoyibo after his
alleged calf
there. Well, let's take you away from the Punch. The Punch has its own interesting stories back and forth. Let's tell you that's the much we can take there with the Punch, on newspaper of the Punch. Let's quickly move away from the Punch and go to the Nigerian Tribune, which is Saturday Tribune.
Yes.
Saturday Tribune has its own story talking basically about the by-elections, what is happening today.
It says by-elections, ADC, APC, PDP chieftains test strength as polls hold in 12 states. And he has this rider which says IGP orders watertight security. Of course, it's about the election and
exactly. No, there's one thing with I know the commission that asked INEC, Independent Electoral Commission, had stakeholders meetings from the CSO to the media to security to political parties as well to talk about how they can make the electoral process seamless and ensure that everyone is held accountable from the party and political parties to the security. So this is the security playing its own part as the head of election security to ensure that security is in place, everything is seamless, voters can come out and exercise their franchise with no fear and no intimidation going on for them. So that's also part of what that is going to, and that's to ensure that there's seamless process and everyone has a fair share of what they need out there on the poll.
Yes, certainly. And then if you look below that headline, it has this one which says Kwara bandit attackers came from Zamfara. This is according to the Miyetti Allah president. And you see that on page 8.
Yes, that's on page 8. Well, a lot has to be said about this insecurity and how this banditry needs to stop and allow people to have their life and move around freely.
Honestly.
I'm telling you, we can't have our own space and we can't move around. That's something that needs to go. Well, let's quickly, before we go back to get to that story, let's look above the masthead where it says, seized local government allocations. Oshun Obas broke, can't pay salaries.
That's an interesting one. So we need to know why the allocations were seized.
You need to find out all of the story, and that's on page 4 of the Tribune newspaper. Well, let's look at a bit of a sad one happening there with one of the radio stations.
Yes, and
Fire Gods. Yes, Fire Gods Ayefela's music home. That story is, and I don't know why that trend is always happening. We've seen celebrities having their houses.
I have infernos, not even celebrities. I think we need to do better with fire management.
Exactly.
You see incidences with markets and getting erupted on fire. See celebrities like you rightly mentioned. So I think we need to do better with our fire management and emergency management.
The amount of attention needs to be paid, and then watch out very well to see that you have also the safety protocols put in place for you.
You know, we have to be more preventive than reactive.
Yes.
So the best method for me is to make sure that those things don't even occur, not trying to save them or trying to curtail the situation once it has happened. It's better you prevent before you even act at the end of the day.
Okay. Well, that's a sad one there. We pray that I hope he didn't lose so much.
Yes.
And I hope he recovers from that quickly and can get back on his feet. Well, let's move away from that story. There's another story here which says
woman tells Ibadan court, I worked hard abroad in order to
We have a lot of stories where outside the country, it's a balance, a shared responsibility. If you want to survive, if you want to,
you have to work.
You have to work. It's all about work.
There's no gender role saying because I'm a man or I'm a woman. Everybody has got to bring their own quota to the table. I
don't like that. Everybody's finding a balance, you know. But let's if it has to, that's. Newspaper. Let's quickly move to the Nation newspaper. The Nation newspaper has its own story. Still talking about the by-elections. The Nation newspaper, on this major headline, what is leading there? It says by-elections, all eyes on Okpebholo, Soludo, Uba Sani, and Makinde. We have the riders there that says Edo APC, PDP, ADC in show of strength. Anambra, APGA battles APC for late Ifeanyi Uba's successor. Oyo, can APC floor Makinde's PDP in Ibadan North? Kaduna, El-Rufai, PDP take on Uba Sani. ADC leaders downplay by
measures of the
party's strength.
Yes.
Well, those are some of the major places where strengths will have to speak boldly.
Of course, you know, even these elections, people have seen them as a build up to the 2027 elections. So the permutations are there, the calculations are there, who is gaining ground, who is losing ground.
So that will also speak better for them across ahead of 2027.
Yes.
Everybody wants to have holes.
They want to have a strong hold because the more ground you gain now, and the easier it becomes for you in 2027.
Exactly. So we wish them all the best into this outing. But let's quickly move away from there and go above the masthead there that says FG finally meets all benchmark after years of struggle. With the writer that says credits fit to PINL, others efforts, and that's on page 6 of the Nation news. But that's a bit of
the oil sector.
Talking about business.
Yes, and then
go ahead and talking about business, and also how efforts have been put in to see that the benchmark
of our oil crude has been met, because we've been having struggles meeting that benchmark. But finally, this momentum has been met, and I hope not just meeting it now. I hope the consistency, sustainability certainly we continue to meet our benchmark. And then moving to the headline beside this, it says 58 passengers denied boarding on British Airways Abuja London flight. That's on page 3 of the Nation's newspaper. Maybe we'll have to see a probe of that sector to unravel the mysteries in the sector.
Well, time will tell, and we'll find out what's really happening and how that sector will stand tall. Well, let's move away from that and tell you what's happening. Jimoh Ibrahim to Commonwealth Parliament. Nigeria set to focus on free education bill for people with disabilities. I
think this is long overdue. It is a passionate matter because we have seen people with disability disenfranchised, and maybe not intentionally, but that's what has happened. And I think it's about time that the country places priority on this disadvantaged community. It will scale up a lot for the community, and it's a right move in the right direction. The
fact that the community is actually very vocal, and from the authorities, from government to the legislature, to the judiciary, a lot of this have been put in place. But one thing is implementation process, like the public buildings, accessibility, and all of those. This has been one conversation. This has been one conversation that has been ongoing for over some time.
And of course, there's a commission now which is to oversee those things. Yes. And I think they are doing well, but they need to scale up. They need to do much better. So we hope that much more better. And then talking about the fact that the focus is going to be channeled towards the education part of it is actually a fantastic one, which is time. It's high time for more education to be given to. Because there's no how if you want to empower people without education. If you need people to be off the streets, not begging because of their disability, I think the best tool you can give them is education. And if you do that, you're taking them off the street. You're giving them empowerment, basically. Okay, that's a good one, conference. So let's hope that stays strong and well, let's move away from that and quickly tell you this another story here. We see two women there down there, and this one talks about
business.
Yes.
How I found fortune in roots, herbs, 31-year-old serial entrepreneur. That's on page 23. Well, fortune can come from different ways.
Yes.
And she's telling you how she found out. So for you to find out more about that,
maybe you can also tap in. So you should find that story and read it, and you could learn one or two.
Entrepreneurship is one way to scale up.
Certainly it is. I think it's the future. We have to, self-reliance is something that we all should strive for.
Okay. Well, we have FIRS integrate 1,000 large taxpayers into e-invoicing platform. Still talking about business as well. See how that can come in and add more. And let's quickly take this last headline, and then we'll move away from this paper and delve into our discussion and also other segments. Well, let's look at this. It says, Foluke Daramola, my mom is only reason I'm still married. We'll find out more on that story and know the reason why she has to come out to the public
and tell us that her mom is the only reason keeping her in that marriage.
Well, that's on page 19. Find out more. I like the fact that there's a mix of entertainment and talking about family and other stories making the rounds there on that particular screen. Let's quickly take the last paper for the day, and then we have that Saturday Independent. The Saturday Independent newspaper there, where it has a story. It says, major headline leading there, it says, Lion in UNN's silent struggle with infrastructure decay. Well, UNN, we know, I know there's a story we talked on some weeks back that talked about public institutions and the need for the authorities to pay attention and give value to that sector and see that this can come out in the limelight. If you see the picture displayed there where you have the university there, it's actually an eyesore.
Of course, you know, UNN is one of the foremost universities in Nigeria. So I don't know why they would let it get to this state of decay. I think the authorities involved should sweep in and save the institution.
You can't have children going to school and living in such environments. Although sometimes I tell this is not a secondary school, this is a higher institution. Why would you live in an environment like this? One thing for us is you're an adult. Before we call the authority accountable, what happens?
Maintenance. What's our maintenance culture?
Exactly. What's the maintenance culture? Why would you have such thing? Speaking of, except they've done their bit, and then there's a whole lot more to the story or this picture was saying right here, because you can't have this kind of picture telling about the institution. It doesn't speak well at all. Well, let's not dwell so much on that. Let's quickly move away where we have the Minister of Agric partners NDLEA on alternatives to illicit drugs, rehabilitation of drug users. That's on page 22 there of the Saturday Independent. You can pick up a copy and find out more stories on that. We're still talking about politics there. Let's move on. We have ADC blast FG for ignoring message in Okonjo-Iweala's comments. ADC.
Of course, opposition would have to keep the government to its toes.
Exactly. ADC, not rest on its all at all, telling you that it's high time for just holding the federal government accountable.
It's part of opposition politics.
Well, still talking about the issue around the aviation sector, we have British Airways drops 58 London-bound passengers over faulty doors. Faulty door, rather. That's on page 4. So is that the reason why they didn't board? Because it's a different narrative to the story
from the one we saw previously.
This is saying the reason why they were dropped is because there's a faulty door. Was there a struggle?
Why is the aircraft flying with a faulty door?
Exactly.
Were inspections not done before it lifted? Those are questions that we have to ask. And of course, it's around aviation safety, like we've always talked about. People's lives are involved here.
Exactly.
These are things that not should be taken for granted or taken lightly.
Okay. Well, all of this you can find out on page 4 of the Independent newspaper and see what that story is about and find out details about that story. Well, another story here on the side notes. Chief Cameron, legendary Yoruba actor, passes away at 72. Well, that's on page 6 there of the Independent newspaper. And then a bit of business still. Nigeria's inflation rate eases to 21.88% in July, but food prices remain stubbornly high.
That's a funny one. When we read the inflation story the other time, what was on my mind is, okay, we've seen the rates drop, but has it translated to real life or real time food prices dropping? And this headline is saying it has not.
It has not. Because if you get to the market, that's the thing with the market prices. You see different prices of the same goods across the market. You could be at the particular point, or even in the store where you walk into stores to get things, different prices. It ranges from where they get their own produce as well. And at the point of selling out, they also want to make profits. So you also not...
but even as much as we want to make profit as business people, we should also have human face in our business. You should consider the people who come to buy.
And they'll tell you that's the way they bought it. They also need something to add for the cost of transportation.
Yes, but do not overly inflate it. That's what I'm just saying, basically.
Well, Mukhtar is saying have a human face when you're putting your prices to the food product, because people need to eat.
We need to eat. We need to survive. You know how as a foodie I am.
As a foodie, you can't take that away from me. I have to speak up. Well, let's quickly tell you that's the much we can take on newspaper review segment today. We've had papers lined across. We've seen the Daily Independent, we've seen the Nation, we've seen the Vanguard, we've seen the Punch, we've seen Tribune, and that's the much we can take. Let's quickly take our next segment on the program, which is Taste and Texture. Don't go anywhere, stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Hello everyone and welcome to the program Taste and Texture. Today we are going to prepare delicious Nigerian delicacy and we'll be preparing it from scratch. I am Sadia Yakubu. In today's episode of the program, we'll be preparing boiled yam and egg sauce. Egg sauce and boiled yam is one of the breakfast staples in Nigeria, or should I say weekend breakfast? Boiled yam and egg sauce is very easy to make. Typically in Nigeria, we use fresh tomatoes, Scotch bonnet chili, and onions in making this sauce. Egg sauce can also be eaten with bread. Ingredients for egg sauce and boiled yam: tuber of yam, 4 to 6 raw eggs, medium-sized tomatoes, chopped, Scotch bonnets, chopped small onion, chopped red pepper, chopped vegetables of your choice, vegetable oil, salt for the yam, and your egg sauce, seasoning cube, then spices of your choice. How to cook or how to make egg sauce. Break eggs into a shallow bowl. Whisk till egg white and egg yolk are well combined. Add salt and mix to combine, then set it aside. Place a frying pan on a medium or low heat. Add to vegetable oil. Heat for about 2 to 3 minutes. Add chopped peppers and onions. This should cook for about 4 to 5 minutes or till oil floats on the sauce. Add salt, Maggi cube, and other seasonings of your choice. Stir to combine ingredients with sauce and also avoid sauce sticking to the pan. How to prepare yam. Slice yam into your desired sizes. Peel the skin off. Rinse in clean water. Put yam in the pan. Add enough water to cover it. Add salt and place on medium heat and cook till soft. Test with fork. If it goes fully, then the yam should be soft enough. Drain water from the yam if you want. Serve yam with egg sauce. There you go. Yam and egg sauce is ready. That's it on today's episode of the program Taste and Texture. Hope you will try these recipes in your various homes and hope you enjoyed the program. Join me next week for another episode of the program. I am Sadia Yakubu. Appreciating you for watching.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Thank you so much for that taste and texture, Sadia. We had that amazing food there, and I just started feeling hungry.
Honestly, salivating.
Oh my God! All right, I think I'm going to try that, Mukhtar.
What's it called? Boiled yam and egg sauce.
We're going to try that and see how it's going to help with the breakfast this morning.
Yes.
Well, let's quickly move away from that. I hope you've learned that steps and you fixed that for part of your breakfast for yourself. Let's tell you what our discussion is, which we told you earlier. Our conversation will be around the ongoing by-elections happening across 12 states in 16 constituency. And don't forget that this whole thing is happening across this constituency due to different reasons, like INEC stated. INEC said these elections were due to be conducted due to deaths and vacant positions, which they were notified by different parties and across the states that there were vacancies in this constituency and there was a need to fill those vacuum. And that's the reason why this elections is happening right now across the 12 states. But let's also tell you an interesting part, which is part of this by-election happening in the 12 states. Remember that the Social Democratic Party have had their internal crisis and back and forth for a while, and still ongoing, and still back and forth of court judgments here and there. But INEC had earlier not included them in the by-elections because they had not met with the requirements for them to also be part of the by-elections. But as at yesterday, a statement was released from INEC through the National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, in person of Samuel Olumekun, MNI, where he spoke about the court's judgment that was served INEC, and the statement here, I'll just quickly run through the statement where it says the commission has been served with the judgment of the Federal High Court Abuja Division in suits number FHC/ABG/CS/1525/2025. In the judgment, the commission was ordered to include the Social Democratic Party, SDP, and its candidates in the by-elections in 12 states of the Federation. The party did not earlier submit a valid notice for the conduct of primaries for the by-elections. For this reason, they were not monitored by the commission. However, in compliance with the judgment, the names of the candidates submitted manually have been accepted and published on our website. That's according to Samuel Olumekun there. He says the party will participate in the by-election. The commission wishes to ensure to assure the public, especially voters in the 12th state, that the 11th hour judgment will not affect the election, which will proceed today, being Saturday, 16th August 20, as scheduled. Meanwhile, the commission will exercise its legitimate right of appeal under the law. That's the press statement that was released from INEC yesterday. And we also have where it has on its website, just like he said, the names. We have the names of the candidates who are also contesting in these by-elections across the states. We have the names where INEC released also on its website displayed there, where they talked about the issues, the candidates, and saying it's not obstruct the process, because INEC had earlier said they were ready and they had put in logistics, they had put in everything, and across the 12 states they had released sensitive materials,
the beavers and all.
Everything has been put in place for the election to hold today. And this is actually a few minutes to 9, and that means across the state we're looking for to the polls because it's supposed to open at 8:30, which was what was given from INEC, that at 8:30 across the 356 wards in the 12 states, which will have across nearly over 6,987 polling units covering 32 local government areas and 356 wards, will have the election happening. And don't forget that this by-elections, Mukhtar, is going to happen across the senatorial seats, the senatorial seats, and also the House of Representatives seats, where we had some loss of life.
Like in the case of Anambra, the loss of the senator there, that's what has led to that vacuum. And INEC has to fill that position right now. And in the case of
Edo State
with the incumbent governor now, At the time, he was a senator, but because he wanted to run for the governorship, he had to resign and contest. So that seat is vacant, and that seat will be filled in today's election.
Exactly.
And also in the House of Reps, similarly, his counterpart, who is the deputy now, was also a House member. So he vacated that seat, and that seat is now vacant, and it will be filled. And across the other
state assembly seats also, don't forget we have state assembly seats which are also vacant and needs also to be filled. We have the ones in Kogi, we have in Niger State, we have in Taraba State, we have in Zamfara State, where the state assembly seats are also vacant and need to be filled. And don't forget that parties across this states, from the PDP to ADC, everyone is going to show their strength, because they want to ensure that they have strongholds holding up for them ahead of 2027 to see that they have this covered. And we're going to keep tabs and also tell you what I don't forget that what we mentioned earlier about those states in Edo Central, that's where the by-elections will take place. That's for the governor whose seat is actually going to happen. And also Anambra South, that's where the election will also be taking place. And don't forget that talking about election security and dousing out tension in this by-election process, we have for the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps had also deployed over 20,000, which is 20,850 personnel to ensure that the process is seamless and there's no obstruction of the process. And these people are actually going to be in place to monitor the process and see that no intimidation, ballot box snatching is being
Of course, those incidences have reduced, and I think the security has done well. And of course, not only the NCDC, we have the police and other sister security agencies partnering the what's it called now?
The police and other security agencies
all partnering to ensure that security, a seamless process.
Security is put in place and the process is seamless, because all we want is a democratic process where the system is free and easy, and voters will go out and pick the candidates of their choice. No citizens should be disenfranchised in this process. It's time for Nigerians to earn the right person they want. Like we talked about the state assembly level and also the Senate, where we have the right persons to be their choice, because these people are representing the people. So Nigerians are expected to have their choices, being allowed to be in the position they are also vying for. Of
course, in a democracy, we all know that it's all about the representation. So now the fact that there's a vacuum, people have been saying we are not represented. So it's that opportunity they have now to vote in the right people to make the right decisions on their behalf.
Like INEC will always say, that's the commission. It is not just INEC you always have to hold on to. Yes, there's supposed to be the Independent Electoral Commission in charge of affairs of election, but also don't forget that election is a multi-stakeholder process, which is cut across the political parties, cut across the media, cut across the observers,
even the electorate themselves.
So it's a multi-stakeholder process which everyone needs to sit up tight. If you want the process to be free and smooth and easy, we need to have all of this put in place. The security, which is also playing their part, the media also monitoring and checking and also reporting on the activity, accountability and all that, ensuring that every process is put in place. And also the observers, don't forget we always have foreign observers, election observers coming, and also the local observers talking about the CSOs coming to check and see that the process is seamless. And don't forget, after every election process, there are always reports done by all of these observers to give back INEC or to tell them how they've done and how these parts were played and where corrections need to be put in place. All of these are conversations that is still ongoing to see that Nigerian election process is good enough, and the narrative someday will get better from it. But INEC has actually also improved on its parts with the technologies brought into place, the BVAS,
IREF, and the likes of them.
All of that is done by the commission to see that INEC has a seamless process and the process is good to go for everyone, and democracy wins at the end of the day.
That's just the essence. This for democracy to win, for people to be well represented across board. That's just the essence. And these elections are not supposed to be about violence.
No.
They're about to be about you just making your choice, going there to vote for the right person who would represent you. So there's no essence of being violent about it. You can just cast your vote peacefully and make your choice, basically.
All right, well, that's the much we can take, and we will, like we said, we'll keep tabs with the election, the by-election happening across the 12 states and the 16 constituency across the states, like we mentioned, which is covering all the seats, the senatorial seats, the House of Representatives seats, and also the State Assembly seats there. We'll see, and we'll also have that in the course of our bulletins, and we'll give you all the rundown happening across the states. Mukhtar, it's been an amazing time having you.
It's been a great time, and it always is a great time with you here, and I had a fun time here.
Well, we'll tell you, have a great weekend, have plans for the weekend, and have a lovely, lovely weekend ahead of you. See you. I remain Aniti Patrick.
And I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Have a lovely weekend.